Hello, everybody. Welcome to Control City Freak. This is the YouTube channel where we look at the highway signs around America and find out where the highways are going. Today, we are going to talk about I-15, Interstate 15, specifically southbound I-15. It's a great road, very scenic road. I have a video up about northbound 15. If you didn't catch that, I'll put the link for that right here. And let's get on to southbound I-15. So southbound I-15, I showed this map before. I-15 we see right here starts all the way up in the middle of nowhere in Montana at the Canadian border and comes all the way down to San Diego. So sort of through the interior mountain west. It's a great road. Here is the beginning of I-15, the first sign at the Canadian border, just Great Falls, and we see over here South 15 and Great Falls. Here we have the first mileage sign that we see on I-15 South. We've got Sunburst, Shelby, and Great Falls. A sensible sign. Still continuing on, Valier Road, Conrad, Great Falls. Once we reach Great Falls, 15 switches to South Helena, which, as noted earlier, is a fine control city. It's the capital of Montana, and there's not a whole lot out here. Within Helena, Helena, not sure. Within Helena or Helena, Montana, 15 is now signed south for Butte in Montana as well. So we see here Clancy, 5, Boulder, not Colorado, 22, and Butte, 59. Here is the meeting of I-90 near Butte. 15 and 90 will merge together for a short concurrency, a Butte of a concurrency. I gotta bring that joke back. So they will go through Butte and then they will split and go their own way on the other side, which we see here. West 90 Missoula and 15 south Dillon and Idaho Falls. I don't know what Dillon is. I guess it's probably a town in Montana for Montana wanting to sign its own cities, but it has the primary control of Idaho Falls, which in this part of the country absolutely makes sense. Here's our sign, another mileage sign on the way to Idaho Falls with Montana 278 and Barrett's on the list. Now on the Idaho side, we've got a nice snowscape here. Spencer, Dubois, and Idaho Falls. Here in Idaho Falls, we are now on 15 South Blackfoot, Pocatello. I'm still not familiar with Blackfoot. I saw that in the northbound video, but Pocatello does seem like the sensible route for southbound. It's a more major city in Idaho and an interstate junction, so why not? Now here where 15 and 86 meet, 15 is South Pocatello because we haven't actually gotten to downtown Pocatello yet, and Salt Lake. Salt Lake is definitely the major city that's coming up here, so Salt Lake definitely should be the primary control. And 86 west for Chubbuck and Twin Falls. As I noted in the northbound video, 86 doesn't actually make it to Twin Falls because it dead ends into 84 before that. So if you're doing a city that's not on the route, why not Boise? Seems like the way to go. Now we've got Income, McCammon, and Salt Lake. Moving further on, we've got Trementon, Ogden, and Salt Lake City. This is a pretty good mileage sign, I think. Trementon is around where 15 and 84 first meet. Ogden is where 15 and 84 divide again, and also a somewhat large city in its own right. And then, of course, Salt Lake City as our primary control. Here is where 84 and 15 merge together. So 84 west, Trementon, Boise. I guess Trementon is downtown. Trementon would be on 84. South and east, 15 and 84 for Ogden and Salt Lake. I think that's a good way to go because, as I said, Ogden is somewhat of a major city itself. And also, that's where 84 jumps off. So 84's control city here would be Ogden. 15's would be Salt Lake. So here we see a mileage sign on 1584. Brigham City, Ogden, Salt Lake. And then when 15 and 84 split, 84 has the awesome control city of Cheyenne. I love the way Utah does this. They could have signed, the small town where 84 and 80 meet, but no, they signed 84 East Cheyenne, which is awesome. 15 South Salt Lake City. Here on the northern end of the Salt Lake City metro area, we meet 215 South. We get that same belt route that we had northbound, but we also get Salt Lake City International Airport, so at least we know somewhere the 215 is going. Here's where we meet I-80, 80 West, Reno, and the airport, and 15 South Las Vegas, 18 East Cheyenne. I think that's a sensible way to do it for dividing the control cities on the two different interstates on this concurrency. And where they split again in the southern side of Salt Lake City, we continue 15 South Las Vegas and 80 East Cheyenne. Going along the road through Utah, we now get Lehigh 8, Provo 22, Las Vegas 402. So Provo becomes the secondary control here, which is sensible. Provo is a pretty big city. If you look at just random interchanges on I-15 in Utah, south of Salt Lake City, all of them have this North 15 Salt Lake City, South 15 Las Vegas thing going on. They don't use smaller cities. They do use the two primary control cities and not secondaries at the intersections, which I really like. I think Utah doing it that way is awesome. Continuing on, we've got Neffy, Fillmore, Las Vegas. These are okay. At this point, I think I'd rather have I-70 signed as the secondary control. Maybe Neffy, I-70, Las Vegas. Although going southbound on I-15, I-70 isn't as big of a deal because of the way I-70 bends. You're going to have to go out of your way to get to I-70 if you go all the way to the actual I-70 junction. And here is the I-70 junction. We've got 70 East, Richfield, Denver. Awesome again, as I said in the other, that we have Denver as the control city and not Grand Junction or Green River or Salina or some Utah city like that. 15 South, Beaver, Las Vegas. I really don't know why it's not St. George, Las Vegas. St. George seems like it would be the secondary control of choice in this sign. And I imagine they'll probably change that because St. George is really growing. Once we get into the general Beaver area, 18 miles from Beaver, St. George does become the secondary control city. In the far south of Utah, beyond St. George, we've got 3 control cities on this sign, as we often do. Littlefield, which is really the only exit of any circumstance off of I-15 in Arizona. Then we've got Mesquite, which is the border town between Arizona and Nevada. And then Las Vegas, our primary control at 109. So, good sign. Here is no control city stuff, but the awesome Virgin River Gorge that I-15 goes through in the Arizona Strip. Again, fantastic road if you've not been on it before. Once we get to Vegas, 515 to Phoenix and Reno, we now get 15 South Los Angeles, which I think is the right choice. 15 South Los Angeles. For one thing, there's so much Vegas, LA traffic, so it would make sense you would have that. A lot of people are making that drive. And it's also kind of the old Route 66 situation too. Nevada gets a little provincial here on the south end of Vegas. We have Jean 15, Prim 27, Los Angeles 257. So the last 2 small towns in Nevada are signed along with LA, instead of, say, putting a Barstow or a San Bernardino in there or something. But again, as long as we're doing Los Angeles as the ultimate control destination, then I am 100% okay with this sign. This one, not so much. Once we get into California, it's amazing how provincial California can be. Suddenly, we have been signed for Los Angeles throughout the Las Vegas area, and suddenly we get Baker, Barstow. No mention of Los Angeles whatsoever. I know 15 does not go through Los Angeles, and it does go through Baker and Barstow. But still, you could have a third line on that sign for Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is the main driver of traffic on this road anyway. Here, the famed Baker, world's tallest thermometer. Baker. After Baker, we get this ridiculous Yermo Barstow. So Caltrans is just absolutely refusing to sign anything beyond Barstow. They're acting like Barstow is the end of the world here. I have no idea why we don't have Barstow first on that, and then Los Angeles, San Bernardino, San Diego, something else second. Yermo? Come on, Caltrans. Here we have 15 meeting I-40 indirectly. So the indirect exit for I-40, Needles, is here. 15 now becomes South 15 San Bernardino, now that we are in Barstow. And this, I also think, is a terrible choice. Because, yeah, no 15 Los Angeles, because 15 doesn't go to Los Angeles, technically, so blah, blah, blah. But guess what? 15 doesn't go to San Bernardino either. So why would San Bernardino be the choice? Yeah, it's a big city. There's, I don't know, 400,000 people in San Bernardino. It's pretty big. But it's not Los Angeles. It's not one of the absolute huge metros of the United States, the way Los Angeles is. We continue, 15 South San Bernardino, 58 for Bakersfield here. I see that there's some green out here. It looks like it's greened out, so it might have been Los Angeles in the past, and then they might have changed it to San Bernardino. With the split for 215, 215 is the road that actually goes into San Bernardino and into Riverside. So 15 here now becomes South Los Angeles, San Diego, which is probably what it should have been this whole time. Perhaps even more annoyingly now, we meet the 210, and just like 15 did northbound with the split with 215, 15 was signed for Los Angeles. 15 south at 215 was signed for Los Angeles, and now again Los Angeles disappears. I don't know why they don't put either Los Angeles on the sign for 210, West 210 Pasadena, LA, although this is probably not the most direct route to LA, or better, 15 South Los Angeles, San Diego would be the way to go. Keep Los Angeles on there until you meet the 10. Follow the old Route 66 style. Here we do meet I-10, 10 West Los Angeles, 10 East San Bernardino, 15 South San Diego. Signs finally make sense. I'm 100% okay with this. This one though, again, they love to do this in San Diego. So 15 splits with 163. 163 goes to downtown San Diego. 15 South just gets basically a through traffic thing, just straight up 15 South. Once we meet I-8, this is technically the end of I-15. Of course, Caltrans doesn't ever put up a 15 ends sign because they just won't ever do that. But we do get 15 South National City as a California highway. So they do bother to give a control city to the California highway where they wouldn't to the interstate. California Highway 15 ends here at I-5, so it's mainly dumping you into southbound I-5, so South National City, Chula Vista, North Los Angeles. And that is the end of the mighty I-15. It's a great road, and I really enjoyed making videos about it. Thank you so much for watching this video, for watching Control City Freak. I do hope that you like, subscribe, tell your friends, click the bell, all the things. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Todd, and keep on trucking.